Hi, it's Dick Rochfort. Currently level flight on our way to Islip from Bangor, Maine. And I've had multiple requests for some detail on the use of control wheel steer. Now this button is on most autopilots, 3-axis autopilots, and it's gets better all the time actually, but it's a very specific button that could be used in some very specific ways. So I want to take a minute to go over the use of the button so there's no confusion about when or how you might want to use it or what it's going to do. Let's start here with the banner. And note that whatever the autopilot's doing when the autopilot is on, you can see that it's on and what it's doing. In this case, it's working with the FMS, the GPS. The autopilot is engaged and the yaw damper is engaged.
635,
altitude hold at 240.
Good afternoon.
Auto 925, I said.
Now if I press control wheel steer, CWS lights up white. That means I have the aircraft. I can push, pull. Notice the bars stay with me. When I let go, however, it returns to doing what it was doing before I push the button. You'll note that it'll even make a climb to get back to the altitude in the pre-select. So that's one use. So let's say you had a towering cumulus in front of you, which we do not today. It's a beautiful day. We're over the Atlantic Ocean on our way down to Lima, Foxtrot, Victor. But if there were one towering cumulus that would be bumpy for the customers, guests, family, whoever, we would want to go around it, ask ATC for a slight deviation, press and hold control wheel steer, and make a little 180, or correction, a 90 turn, followed by a couple of other 90 turns to get back on course. And that could all be done without interfering with the autopilot or changing. Another way to do that, of course, would be to press the heading bug to the lubber line and then switch the command of the aircraft to heading, and then roll the heading bug one way or the other to make your turns.
And Minuteman 724, not sure if you got enough
then when you're
mileage to get
clear of the obstacle, the cloud, go back to the nav mode.
You want to take a heading to get up to altitude and then back down.
And note that those commands do change here on the marquee.
Roger. Fly heading
as well.
Of 210.
But sometimes control wheel steer is all it's needed.
Okay, just
now,
let me know when you want to descend.
There's another little feature here that many pilots don't even know about. That is, if you're in the nav mode, as we are, if you were to secondarily tap the nav button again, the autopilot goes to the roll mode. Now it does so without making any changes. In other words, the airplane was wings level when I double tapped or secondarily tapped nav, and so it stays put, but it's in the roll mode, which means now when I press control wheel steer and make a slight turn and let go, the airplane stays in that roll. Well, that was a little hard to see, but let's try that again. Control wheel steer. And now we're in the roll mode. If I go back to nav, the airplane will come back and go back and even center the needle.
Good afternoon, maintain VFR, Bangor,
and while we're at it, notice that the white dashed line under the course needle is our track, as is the white, the magenta diamond, our track over the ground, or in this case over the water. So that's nice to know. Most pilots don't even see that because once it's set up, it's underneath the course needle and it can't be seen except for the diamond. But the magenta diamond and the white dashed line are track indicators on this G3000. It's also true if I secondarily tap the altitude button, I'll go to the pitch mode and the altitude select will be armed. So if I'm a little bit off my altitude and I want to get back, I can roll in a slight climb and get back to 24. And when it gets back, it automatically captures again. So that's from the pitch mode. So the pitch mode will capture a pre-selected altitude. Roll mode can be used to get a turn started until you can get the bug set. Toga, the toga button in the power lever here on the side, is a very specific pitch roll mode, which gives you 8.5 degrees nose up, wings level. And as you might already expect, from that very specific pitch roll mode, you can press and hold control wheel steer, change the pitch and roll, let go, and it'll hold what you got. That could be useful on a missed approach if you're crushed for time, at least until you can get the rest of the buttons correctly set up and pushed. This is Dick Rochfort. Fly safely. Train off it.